Okay, that's better. I am Phil, I am the Down Under Maker. How is everybody? Okay, a little bit different this week. Normally I build lots of stuff, but this week I am going to be unboxing and hopefully getting printing a Prusa Core One. I was lucky enough to win the Nomad's Galaxy Grand Prize from his charity stream, which was a Core One from Printed Solid, which was then fulfilled by their head office, which is Prusa in Czechoslovakia. Took about 8 days for me to receive it after the win, and it was sitting here on the bench behind me while we finished off the Roadie 3D Sets truck. It's been taunting me for this whole time, and I've been wanting to open it and say screw you guys, but I decided not to. Hopefully we should have some visitors from Nomad and his cohort, and I understand that Armour 3D and Jeremy and Kilo are going to try and raid into me after their streams finish as well. So when all those guys drop in, say hi to everybody for me, and I will try and say hi to people as well. Okay, so let's have a quick look at what's going on. Last week, we built this thing. Well, we finished building this thing. There's a couple of parts I still need to work on. The doors aren't quite right, and I need a new steering servo because the one that they recommend just isn't strong enough no matter what I've done. So yeah, it needs a little bit more work, but we'll come back to that in a couple of weeks once the replacement servo turns up. Let's move this out of the way because according to Prusa, we need an extremely large amount of space to build this thing. Now, let me see if I can retune my setup here. Chrome. Now, something weird going on with that one. Let's go transform and rotate 180 degrees. Okay, that one's back up the right way. And that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Cancel. Okay. My restraint green beard has been, oh my goodness, I've really wanted to open it, but I've managed to not. So did I break something then when I dragged it across? I think I did. There, that's better. Okay, now, because of the slightly different nature of this stream, I am doing things a little bit differently. I've moved some cameras around, and some of my OBS setup might not be exactly what people are used to. So, as you can see, Prusa say that we really should have a very large amount of build volume to put this printer together in. It can't happen here. Just don't have this sort of space. 60 inches is like most of my arm reach. And to need that, have that much in this big, huge square, not going to happen. But I've done as best as I can. I've cleared a big chunk of space on my bench, cleared everything over. And I've also, some of you guys have seen this before. This is my IKEA Alex with the custom height extension so that it matches my benchtop height. Makes moving printers around an awful lot easier, and I'm going to be making full use of that today. So let's go back to this one for a minute. This camera here is normally my top-down camera, so it's been adjusted and hopefully should give us an okay view of what's going on from above. I've also added a webcam over here, which is just one of those little Logitech C270s, which the picture quality is awful, but it might give us a little bit more to work with in terms of views. So let's get everything started. Introduction. Now, I've been told that the manual that we're going to be following is very comprehensive and covers everything as if you're a brand new person to 3D printing. I'm going to be doing this as if I am brand new to 3D printing, but of course, if things get really silly and too basic, we'll skip ahead. Welcome to the unboxing guide. Prusa Core One, follow these steps. Oh, the other thing, I don't have any lollies in the house, no candy of any kind. So hopefully there's some Haribos or something in the box that we can munch on as we go. So grab your Haribos, grab your coffee green bid, and we will go from here. Welcome to the guide. It comes pre-assembled. The LCD must be installed before printing it as it's removed for transport. Do not install the LCD yet. So that's the LCD, and it says it's going to be coming separate. Next. A whole bunch of stuff on how to navigate. I think we can work that out as we go. How to navigate even more navigation stuff. My robot vacuum cleaner needs the mop pads cleaning. So how to put it in full screen mode. I've already put it in full screen mode because that makes it much easier for you guys to see what's going on. If the views get out of whack, then let me know and I will try and move the insert cameras around a bit to make life easier and so you can see things better. Next, Prusa Core One package includes a whole bunch of tools. Sweet. Even more stuff to add to my new tool holder. Needle nose pliers, that'll be nice because I've just ruined mine. A universal wrench, a whole bunch of other stuff, and some Torx bits. Sweet. Whole bunch of Allen keys and Torx bits. There we go. And I read about this online. You can go on and download their PDF, then you line all your screws up on the PDF when you print it out, and it allows you to know which size of screws you've got. Don't need that as far as I know because we've got the pre-assembled, but I also do have a screw gauge here somewhere that I can use for anything that we need to. Yep, more about the cheat sheet. High resolution images, we can click the plus to zoom it in, okay. And the warning again about needing a huge amount of build space to get this done. So, here we go. Caution, the package is very heavy. Handle it with care. The package fixations, foam inserts may vary. Open the package, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's go to that one. Now, give me one sec. I did blank out my details on that sticker, but I'm just checking all the way around, make sure I've done it for everything. And while a whole bunch of you people already do know where I live, there might be lots of random strangers coming to the stream. I assume that at least Nick is dual streaming me with the other streams that are going on right now. So if I win anything on those streams, please tell them to re-roll. I always enter because why not? For those who weren't around for Nomad's stream, I wasn't even online when the final prize draw happened. It was about 7 o'clock in the morning, my time here in Australia. And what that meant was it was kids' breakfast time. So the first thing I knew about it was people like Kegel and Nick sending me Discord DMs going, dude, you won. And I'm like, wait, what? And I joke you not, I had maybe 20 messages. And I know some of my regulars have already heard this story, but I'll repeat it for those who haven't. I'm just grabbing a razor blade because that's gonna suck to do by hand. Actually, scalpel, even better. Yeah, I had a discussion with my wife about maybe entering the bidding competition for the LDO kit that Jason offered. But my wife said, no, you've already got enough printers. You don't need any more. Oh, we have Haribos. Awesome. And the good guys did manage to remember to give me an Australian cord. So I'd already got a cord set aside just in case, because oftentimes when we receive stuff in Australia, we end up with the wrong kind of power cord. Packing slip. Okay. So what we've got to come out of the box. medium pack of Haribos, USB stick, which they don't pack until very last because it has the latest firmware on it, a how to 3D print handbook, spring steel build plate, and a whole bunch of feet. Now, there has been a hardware revision since the original launch when people like Steve Builds, etc. would have put theirs together. They have changed the way the feet work on these things. Now, as far as I know, this should be a roll of Prusament Galaxy PLA. So yeah, we have filament. Let's put that over. In fact, let's not put that over there. Let's put it straight up on my rep rack, because otherwise I end up with it clogging things up everywhere. Now, you can't quite see it on this view. I guess you can see it behind me. I do have a rep rack up on the wall to hold all my filament and keep it semi-organized. I'm going to put the spring steel sheet in my boron. Once before, I have managed to dent a spring steel sheet during printer assembly, and I don't want to repeat that, of course, because it's expensive. So, open the Haribos. At least I'm not going too bold. Everybody can see my hairline. I know I'm not supposed to eat these yet, but I need the sugar. So, it says printed the build plates, the USB drive, the power cord, and the anti-vibration pads we've got out. So next. More details of the same. I cleared my floor specially to be able to just ditch all the cardboard and foam, etc. across the place. So I've removed the happy printing plate. It says now to remove more foam, which I've already done. It then says to grab the printer by the internal cardboard box. Now, I came prepared for this. Let's have a look at how they do it. So it's that bit and that bit. Am I going to do this on the floor or on the... I'm going to do this from the floor upward. I think that's going to be a much safer option. Lifting with the knees. And up. Giant box now becomes giant waste receptacle. Okay. So we've lifted it out. They show us with the screen side outwards, so let's turn it around. That's the earthing strap and the data connection cord that they were talking about. Next. Now, it's really important, and I've noticed this, is that they actually keep it on its side for quite a long period of time while you're doing a lot of this process. But it says to unhook that, and that is magic. And then that gets us to this stage here on the manual. Let's go back to the manual for a second. So we are now at this stage. Fold down the cardboard protective layers away from the printer, which we've done. Next. Now this is, like I said, where there's been a hardware revision. The Prusa Core One ships with 2 different anti-vibration feet. Carefully read the part names and instructions to refer to the corresponding image below for the specific type of feet. Anti-vibration bar 2 times includes in packages until the May 2025. That's not what we've got. Anti-vibration foot 4 times from June onwards. So this is, like I said, we have a different hardware revision to the original packs that were opened by most of the influencers that are out there, we have these little L-shaped feet instead. And I think if we go back, it says, if you have that, you skip to a different part of the manual. There we go. Now, I'm just going to have a quick look ahead because I think I know how to take the sticker off the back, and we just basically stuff those into the corners. Let's slide this way a little. Another really good reason for having this trolley is it means I can turn things around so you guys can see it a bit more readily. I can then do things like this. Now, I think I might be able to zoom in on this a little bit for you guys. So I'm just waiting for that software to load up. Loading, loading, loading. In the meantime, I'm going to start sticking the first sticky on. And it does make note to ensure that we stick it right in the corner here. Now there is an Allen head screw there, a button head. So I'm just making sure that I'm not interfering with the button head access, and I'm also not sticking it to the outer edges, which are raised compared to the base. So that software has loaded, and let's see if I can zoom in a little now. And I'm just going to adjust that camera down a bit so that you guys get a better view. And what I might end up having to do is adjust it back again later to compensate for when we're actually on the bench. So that foot's already in place. Hi, Don't Knock It. And good night, Don't Knock It. Thank you for dropping in. Please like the stream. I know you've already subscribed, and thank you very much for that. Now, in case you were thinking that these two dimples are feet, they're actually not. They're actually mounting standoffs for a little circuit board that's sitting in here behind this piece of steel. What it's doing, I can't quite tell, but it appears to be some sort of routing for the motor cables. Hi, Jex. Jex is in our Australian equivalent of Home Depot. He's probably spending obscene amounts of money on stuff he doesn't need, as usual. So that foot is on. Now for number 4. Have you noticed how there's no mention of the Haribos in this manual? That just means that I've got carte blanche to eat them when I want. So 1, 2, 3, 4 feet on. It says we need 1, 2, 3, 4 feet. Next, it then says to roll the printer upright. I know what I'm going to do. Slide it backwards. Completely remove the cardboard layer from the printer. Okay, so we're going to stand it up first, and then I'm going to take the cardboard out from underneath it. I am going to do this to my advantage. Slide that off. Slide that out. Fold that down. Inch it this way a little bit. Fingers underneath and roll. And we are back on the trolley so we can do what we need to do when we need to do it. And it says that we can get rid of the cardboard. So the cardboard is gone. There, let's zoom out a bit now. There we go. And next. Open the door. Locate two cardboard box fixtures on the x-axis. There's a notch which releases the fixation. Pull the notch, release, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Do not clean clear panels with IPA. This isn't mentioned in their manual. There's a sticker right here. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit for you guys. Actually, let's go with... Is it that one? No. That one. No, that's not it. One of these extra cameras somewhere. Hopefully you guys can see that yellow label. It says only use alcohol-free cleaners or soapy water to clean it up. And it's really clear and it's all over the place about that. So I'll try and do that. But it does also mean I have to remove that sticker that's not covered in the manual to open the door. But it does peel nicely. That was a very nice peel. Hey, Jake. Way to call out our main. Okay, making sure I've not got anything stuck on the door. Definitely not doing an Uncle Jesse and smashing the door off. It is plastic, so that was highly unlikely, but why take the risk? Although it would probably get me more subscribers if I did something silly like that. Now, it says that you should be able to pull on that tab to... Ah, there we go. Undo it. So just to show you guys how it's done, there's actually a tongue inside the cardboard, and pulling on the upper tongue goes. So that's how it comes out. Into the cardboard box. And the other one. Using the same method, remove the second fixture, which we have done. Next. Preparing the tool pack. The tool pack is located in the right side of the printer. Not that side, that side. That's interesting. It's actually wedged onto the spool holder. Spool holder is 3D printed for those who wanted to know. Let's have a look at what's in this box. Now, unfortunately, I've had to sacrifice the overhead cam, like I said, so it's not going to be as easy to see what I'm doing on the bench as normal, but I'll try and hold it up to the camera for you guys. Another empty cardboard box. So, that's not going to work because there's too much bright light. A bag full of lots and lots of really small screws, an isopropyl wipe, what appears to maybe be a acupuncture needle, and some lubricant. Ooh, lube. Everything's better with lube. Let's just make sure that our toolkit matches what's listed. Okay. I'm going to move that camera to here. That might work a little bit better for what we're doing right now. Hi, Brent. Just spit on the end. Okay. Torx bit. Another Torx bit. 3 Allen wrenches. That one seems a lot smaller than the image, but okay. It says 1.52. I think we're an Allen key short. Not the end of the world, but it says here that we should have 6 and I only have 5. I'm sure we can. Oh, there we go. Just stuck in the plastic bag. Bag's out of the way. Now, next. Open the door fully, lift the right end of the front bezel. Ah, that's why it's a bit sticky. For those who don't know, there's a whole bunch of magnets on here. And that's what holds this plate on. So, pull the bevel out of the printer. Do not discard the part. The bezel is attached to the printer with magnets, make it easy to remove. Note that the cables come from the printer will just blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Next. The XLCD. XLCD. There we go. Are the other streams still going, guys? I'm guessing that a couple of them probably still are. I know Big Jano and a whole bunch of others are also streaming today, so. No way. So that is the screen. Let's put it to one side for a moment and go back to the manual. Following step, please prepare the Yeah, it's got the screen out. So next, connect it to the orange cable first, okay? Now it says something about a tab. There's a tab on the cable. And the red end goes towards there. So for those of you who aren't familiar with ribbon cables, there's always an orange, a red or orange line on the edge of them. Let's make this bigger. So this line here, it denotes the particular end of the cable, usually pin 1, and you need to make sure that that's used to orientate the cable. So that needs to go this way around. Ribbon cables like this have kind of gone out of favor recently. Now that plug went in and it did very nicely and securely click into place. So that's quite reassuring. And we also need to attach the earthing strap. And again, that also, because of the way they're designed, somewhere here on the inside, there's a little tongue that digs into the hole here in the brass connector, so that it very securely locks it into place. So press escape to get out of full screen, and next. Yep, it's just covering it again in case people weren't sure. And now we need to attach it with M3x6 screws, 2 of them. Now I'm assuming that's what was in this bag here. No, that's a whole bunch of nylon rivets. Let's just check the back of the screen where the screws are already pre-installed. So that now I'm not going to use their what am I trying to say? They're Allen keys, because I have a nice set that I like to use myself. I think it was Nick who recommended them. They're really awesome. So goes whole side down that way over those cables. And so let's just go over this. When I got to the screen, these screws were screwed all the way in, and I've just loosened them a little bit so that they'll fit over these key slots. The head of the screw fits through that big end of this key slot, and then when you slide it down, it will then allow the screen to be locked into place by tightening the screws back down again. It's really hard to show you guys. I'm not even going to try. It's just one of those things where you'll have to trust me, I'm afraid. 1, 2, and if you need instructions on tightening up screws, this is probably a bit beyond you anyway. Just finger tight. It doesn't need to be any more than that. It's not under any structural load. And next. Kenneth, how are you? Welcome aboard. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. And it says now to put that plate back into place. Clownhammer! Looks like everybody's starting to bail on the other streams and join us, so which is awesome. And there we have it. The screen is in place. Let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit more. There we go. So the screen's now in place. That's better. You can see it better now. Screen's in, and we're all good to go. So let's have a look at this. Proceed carefully to avoid scratching. Already done that bit. Blah, 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 blah. Hook it back in, slide it down, and it's in place. Yep. Made sure that it's all the way down and aligned on both sides. So just to be clear for you guys, there's actually a tongue on the front fascia that we took off, which slots in behind here. Then there's the expanded foam, which acts as the seal for the chamber. And then there's the magnets which hold it in place. So it's all held under a little bit of tension, and it's actually quite secure and feels like it's almost screwed in. So that's quite good. Next. There we go. Now you can remove the protective films from the transparent panels of the printer. The protective film is located on the top, left and right panels. Ooh. So let's close the door for a minute so I don't accidentally whack it. Now, one good thing from that yellow warning label that wasn't in the instruction manual is actually peeled that up a little bit for us. Let's bring that camera over here for some ASMR. That's not really easy to see, so let's do a little bit of tweaking and hopefully don't crash. Oh, caught on the head of the screw. Screw's obviously put in over the top. There we go. Sorry, I know it's probably a little bit shaky cam, but I'm doing it one-handed while I peel this off so you get to see and experience the peel. And it's off. Put you guys down for a second. You're going to be a bit all over the place and wobbly. Yeah. Gone in the junk box. So it says to do both sides. There. Can you see that one? Yep, just. Now this peel is not going to be as easy. Looks like it's just lifted there. Where's that one there? There we go. Let me bring the microphone nice and close for you guys. Hopefully you guys got to hear the peel. Unfortunately, there is insistence on putting the rivets through the peel. Means that there's a few little taggy bits of plastic. Oh, the zombie, he's away streaming at this time. Nothing I can do about that one. Now, next week we will be back to our regular normal schedule of the tomorrow streaming, but not tomorrow. It'll be, it's just that school holidays and today the kids are at daycare. So I get the day to myself. There's a couple of tiny taggy bits of plastic stuck behind these rivets. I'm not going to mess with them. I might clean that up later after the stream because it's really not worth the stress. So let's put that back and go. Okay, now it hasn't said anything about the front window yet, but I'm guessing that this is a new hardware change because I haven't seen anybody with the front cover protector on it at all. So let's peel that off too. Yay! Okay, that one came off cleanly. One thing about Prusa, their peels always come off nicely for the most part. Now, a bunch of you know that I am on record as saying I'm not a huge fan of one of the design quirks of this machine. I do not like the whole idea of having the spool holder mounted inside the volume of the printer. It makes it too hard to get to. Yes, there's possibly wins. Yes, there's probably advantages to some people. I've worked with tier time printers before that have this. It sucked. It means you also can't stack them up nicely side by side because you always have to have probably 150 mil each side of the printer, on the side of the printer just to get access to that part. So let's go back to the manual for a moment. Attaching the print sheet. Where did I put it? I put it in the boron. So who's winning at the moment? Nick's winning, and Kenneth has just stolen Clown Hammer's number 3 slot. It's a double-sided print bed. Got the Prusa Core One logos on it. It's PEI on both sides. Now, I think my wife stole my spray and wipe. I do have a bottle of soapy water, soapy stuff that I normally have in here, but I'm pretty sure she stole it because she ran out. So it says here we have to put the sheet in all the way to the back, and there's 2 tiny little pegs that it sits snugly against. Done. So just pointing that out in the manual for you guys. Where the arrow is here, there's a little peg, and there's a dint on the back of the sheet for you to slide it around. You mentioned that the PTFE tube being an issue too in the past. It's not easy to see. Purely and simply because the PTFE is all in here. And in order to get to it, you have to unrivet all of the panels. You have to unrivet the side panel and or the top panel, depending on where there is a problem. And then it becomes lots of hard work. So yeah, when it comes time to have to replace the PTFE, it does involve like a 20-minute process just to take all those panels off and get that sorted out. So Let me be clear. Am I skeptical of the design? Yes. Am I very grateful for the win? Most definitely. So what I'm hoping is this will give me the hands-on experience to be able to either confirm my biases or allay them, allay my fears. And I'm hoping that it's going to actually allay my fears. Number one cause of prints detaching from the plate is a greasy surface. Use IPA to degrease it if you have touched the surface. I don't have those issues. I'm not going to worry about that. Next. So green bin, just to amplify what we've been talking about, there is the top panel is riveted on. There's plastic rivets, and there is a whole bag full of replacements just in case you break them. But yeah, what you've got up the top is all sealed up and closed. You can't actually take the top off without dismantling it. And there's just a little slidey panel that you move left and right to close up the top for PLA printing or not. So all printers packages include a USB drive, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we've got the USB drive. We know about that. And you can always go to that web link if you need to. Fun fact, if you click the link, it closes the instruction manual. So one of the things that I encourage you to do, if you click this link, right click, open in a new tab, because otherwise you end up losing your spot in the manual. And then that takes you to the firmware downloads, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly see if this has got any sort of sticker on it to say which version it's got. No, it doesn't. 3rd of June is now what? Over a month ago. So I'm going to take a punt that this is an update version, and we're going to leave it with that. I have already installed Prusa Slicer, but that's the only real prep I've done for the stream. So next. There we go. It didn't jump ahead for some reason. In this the USB drive in your kit into the printer. That is exceedingly tight. Now, something that I'm not sure that I've shown any of you guys is how I've got my power done in this room. I'm a science and engineering teacher, and I'm a big fan of some of the way that the science and engineering classrooms are set up, including having power run kind of like this. You guys see this on the view I'm doing? No, you can't. I've got my back to you and you can't see what I'm even talking about. No, not that one. That one. So I've got a whole bunch of PowerPoints running a conduit across the back of the bench, and also in there in a separate piece of conduit is a whole bunch of network cables. So I've got network points and I've got power to make life nice and simple. So they did give us an Aussie power cable, so let's plug that in first. You guys don't need to see me unbagging it, so I'm not going to bother switching cameras around too much. Twist tie in the rubbish. Okay, so power into the points. Cable into here. Now, there is no mention at all so far of anything about switching voltages. So based on it coming from Europe and based on this having no instructions, I'm going to go with it. If it blows up, well, that's a warranty claim. So PowerPoint is on. Switch on the power supply is on. No magic smoke. And I have a fan spinning. So let's go back to that one. I've got a beep and I have a screen. Now let's turn that to there. And let's go that one and go that one. Add a little bit of zoom. There you go. So you can sort of see what's going on. $5 stays auto switching. Entirely possible, Nick, although it could be that the North American stuff is re-prepared by printed solid before it's dispatched. So let's see if I can zoom in a little more. And I'm picking English on the screen. Hi, it's Joe. Hi, Joe. Now let's go back to the manual for a second and catch up with the manual. Doing exactly what I promised not to do. I'd like to help step you through the process. Now, it did not come up with anything about flashing the firmware, so I'm going to say it's done the check and it's gone, I don't need to. And yes, then it took us to picking English, which we've just done. So let's leave the USB in for now, but we're going to click OK on Joe. Printer type, Core One. Now, printer displays the screen user blah, blah, blah. Selecting the language, hit OK. The next screen will prompt you with the printer model. Since this is an assembled Core One, you don't need to do that, and you can just go to Done. There is a section here about chamber filtration, yes or no, but we'll worry about that later. Do you want to connect to Wi-Fi? Yes. Open up the Prusa app on your mobile device. Cancel. Enter credentials manually. Sorry, I should be doing this with that one up. And it's now going to ask me to type an awful lot of letters and numbers and stuff. Or, no, that network cable is not going to be long enough. I've got a network cable around here somewhere, which I should be able to just stuff into one of the points and connect. No, let's not do that. Let's do it from my phone. Okay, so Prusa app. I did go ahead and install this on my phone already. Set up via NFC. Open the Prusa app on your mobile device, go to the in-app menu and set up printer Wi-Fi. Set up printer Wi-Fi. Printer Wi-Fi setup wizard. And I'm going to go Core One. Now it's asking for my details. Of course, I'm not going to show you guys that. Not that it matters that much, but now we'll transfer the Wi-Fi settings to your printer. Sorry, trying to work this out because it's all backwards and stuff on the screen I'm seeing. Hold your device near the NFC reader on the printer, which apparently is on the back. Ready to scan. Wi-Fi successfully set up. Prusa would like to access your camera. Yes, we'll allow it, just the once. Connecting to my Wi-Fi. Now, in case you're wondering, my Wi-Fi is called Beagle because we have 3 beagles. It's just sitting here. You can find the QR code on the printer in the Settings app. Let's connect to my all right, that's how we do it. You guys can see this one. It doesn't matter. It's only on for a few minutes at a time. I hope you guys can hear how annoying this is. Connecting to that Wi-Fi, let's see what happens. I have a Wi-Fi icon on the screen now. And we're on. Successfully connected to the Down Under Maker Wi-Fi. Do you want to add this printer to your Prusa Connect? Yes. Presumably there was some sort of handshake in the NFC which gave it my Prusa Connect details, because that's what it's currently saying it's doing. Registering the printer to Prusa Connect. Scan the QR code. And it's now asking me for a name for the printer. Printer successfully added. View your printers. No printers assigned. You can do so via the Prusa Connect web service. No idea what's going on there. Registration successful. Leave. Run self-tests. Okay, let's see what it says to do in the instruction manual before we do that. So run the self-test. Okay. Although the printer is thoroughly tested at our facility, we highly recommend running the self-test again. Hit yes to start the self-test. Before you continue, make sure the print sheet is installed and on the heat bed. Yes, I have. Hopefully you can hear this. The fans have gone ballistic. Fans have just ramped down. There's a whole bunch of scrolly stuff going on the screen. Calibration of door sensor is only necessary for user assembled printers. And blah, blah, blah. And no, skip. Okay, so the print head is currently doing strange things, so I'm going to zoom you out. Oh, too far. It's currently whacking itself on the head. Checking the x-axis and it's given green tick. Checking the z-axis calibration. We will need your help with this test. You will be asked to tap the nozzle. Don't worry about it. It's not blah, blah, blah. Continue. Tap the nozzle on the beep. You did not tap the nozzle, or you tapped it too soon. Retry. 3, 2, 1. Load cell test passed. Close the door to prevent air drafts. Here comes the bed. Keela! You forgot to raid into me. That's harsh. So harsh. I reminded you a bunch of times too. So slack. That's all right. I'm currently eating Haribos because there's nothing in the manual about when to eat them, so I'm eating them as I see fit. Now the bed's just reached the bottom of the travel. So heat break status is correct. And it looks like it's starting to warm up. So the nozzle is currently at 85 and the bed is aiming for 110. It's currently at 25. Let's zoom out on this one. Yeah. I'll straighten it up in 1 sec. There we go. Now you're pretty level again. And down. Just get my heat gun out of frame. Oh, parcel's just arrived. Thank you! I have no idea what parcel is due, but we've got new parcels. Haven't we all, Greenbeard? Haven't we all? We've all outsourced the short-term memory requirements to our phones. It's got me intrigued. I'm not even sure what's due in the mail. Now it's still doing its thing. Oh, here we go. We've got an update. The gearbox calibration is only necessary for user assembled. In all other cases, skip. So I've skipped it. We need to start without the filament in the extruder. Please make sure there is no filament in the extruder. Now there is filament in the extruder from the test, so we need to unload that. I'm assuming it's probably PETG, and I'm going to work on that assumption, because that should get it hot enough to remove ABS as well, but not so hot as to make PLA go icky. Unloading filament, and it's warming up. Oh, while this is doing its thing, I'm just intrigued to find out what just got delivered. My wife's obviously been ordering stuff again. Oh, it's a whole bunch of kids' toys. Yep, delivered 2 minutes ago. So still unloading the filament. I'm presuming it's heating it up. I definitely can't pull the filament out, so there we go. Okay, it now says to insert new filament. Now, I spotted something that shouldn't take an awful long time to print, and it's flexi, and I know Keela will love it. It's a little flexi koala. It is actually designed for multicolor print, but let's go with printing that for now. So the way the PTFE is run, you pretty much have no choice but to mount the filament in one particular direction. Insert the filament into the extruder until the sensor detects filament. How can you tell if the sensor's detected it or not? Ah, there we go. On. So on the bottom of the screen, there's actually two okay. It now says filament inserted. Click continue. Calibrating, do not remove filament. Finish. Remove filament to finish. Filament sensor calibrated. So it's still saying the door sensor's not done. Okay, it says we don't need to, so. Oh, I didn't realize it's going to start the whole calibration process again. Let's let it go and see what it does this time. Hopefully it should find that the door's shut. The door is pressed all the way home. X test. Seems to be going through this a lot faster this time. Presumably the Z test is next. Yep. It's already at temperature pretty much. Cooling the nozzle, do not touch. Oh, so it wants me to do the nozzle probe calibration again. So while we're waiting for that, let's go to Prusa slicer. Add a window capture. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that. Waiting for more lollies. Sorry guys, obviously I hit the wrong button. So like I said, there is something that I want to have a go at. I've got PLA installed. Let's add an item. Koala bear. There you go, Keela. I reckon the face actually looks a little bit more like a wombat than a koala, but close enough. So that's what we're going to print. He's a flexi. He's designed to be multicolour, but we're only going to go single for this one. Now, I'm really used to the Super Slicer interface, and there's a few quirks and differences between these two that's going to make my life a little bit complicated. So I've sliced it and then we'll see what happens. You know what? Let's go for a slightly different way of doing it. See how much faster we can get it. That's much faster. And because we're going to be printing in PLA, I'm going to open the vent. Now the temperature of the nozzle is back down to 60 degrees. Chlamydia monkey. They don't all have chlamydia. Kilo, you guys have to come visit. And then we'll take you and Jeremy to go cuddle a drop bear. They'll put some armor on you. I'm not joking. They put a Kevlar vest over you to protect you a little bit from them. But then you can give a drop bear a hug. Okay. Open the door. Continue. We're going to have to wait the seconds again. And when it beeps, tap the nozzle. Load cell test passed. So now it's raising Z again. Blah, 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 blah. Now it's going to do its heat up checks again. Sorry, guys. So let's have another look at what's going on. In the bag, they did include some IPA wipes for the bed for cleaning the PEI, and there is a needle for cleaning the nozzle. tube of lube, like we already did all the jokes about. So I'm going to put that in my other tube, within my other tubes of lube in my little storage. I'm going to throw that little baggie away. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure why they bothered to include all the Allen keys and torque wrenches and stuff. I guess if you're doing service maintenance on the printer, you'd need them, but day to day, and so far for the, and definitely for the assembly, you just don't need these. Kangaroos will not hurt you in any way, shape, or form unless you do something really dumb. Those videos of the rednecks fighting kangaroos, it doesn't happen in real life. They've provoked the kangaroo really, really hard to have got to that stage. Yeah, that dude with the dog, his dog should never have been off lead in the first place. So he kind of was asking for it. Unfortunately, rednecks like to go out and bait the kangaroos with their dogs. Nozzle heater is warming up. Bed heater is passed. So like I was saying earlier, next week we'll be back to our regular Wednesday US, Thursday Australia time slot. School holidays are over, which means I have to actually do work again, which sucks. Having been on school holidays the last couple of weeks has been pretty good, although the kids have been sick, so not been able to go very far. So what's been different from what I remember of Steve Build's Core One unboxing stream? Basically, we now have peelies on the front door, which I don't remember them having on any of the builds of the assembled units. And we also now have new feet. We no longer have the long strips for the feet. We have the corner L-shaped ones. It's only necessary if it's okay. We start continue. Is the filament in the sensor? Yes. Yeah. Insert the filament again, and we're almost back to where we were before I stuffed this all up. Calibrating, do not remove filament. Remove the filament to finish. Don't lose the end fill, it could cause a tangle. There we go, caught it. Exit. Okay. Let's put this filament back in. Now, people were asking me about my skepticism of the whole having the filament loaded in the side of the printer thing. Imagine standing here and you've got a whole bunch of printers over here and all you've got is basically enough room for your hand to get in, and you're going like this. And you can't see what's going on. You have no idea if you're actually doing anything correct. It just sucks. So, back to that one. I think I'm going to have to go to here. There we go. So, Nomad, sorry I'm late. You was playing D&D. Dude. So much nerdiness. You missed us do all the unboxing. Any news on the Super Slicer development? Not that I'm allowed to share, but everybody's going to be happy. Everybody's going to be very, very happy. Apart from the people who like the whole browser built-in thing, that's still being debated as far as I know. But a whole bunch of work's being done on lots and lots of features to hopefully leapfrog the competition quite significantly. And that's going to mean that Prusa Slicer and Orca Slicer hopefully will then be able to adopt those features being forked from the same base. Should mean that they can then bring that across. But in the meantime, it'll give Super Slicer a bit of an advantage and hopefully bring back and win back some of the people who used to use it. Yes, I got the full version, and Haribo's made it through quarantine. So I did get some lollies. There's nothing in the fully assembled to do with eating them, so I've just been eating them ad hoc. But yeah, we are ready to go, I think. So let's see if we can now. Don't have it on. I'm in the middle of changing a few things on my Stream Deck, and I don't yet have the button to go back to this scene. Honestly, Nomad, if I'd received the kit, it would have been better for me, because then I would have had a couple of weeks worth of streams to deal with. But yeah, it is what it is. For some reason, you can't see my overlay. Ah, that's why. There we go, I'm back. I made a 2 kilos for this. There's also an enclosed spool holder box that I've seen, which I might use. Because I live directly between the ocean and the desert, the humidity swings here from like 20% to 99% during the course of one day. So it means that filament ages really fast. So I might actually build a little filament enclosure thing. It was something that Joe did one of those shorts on about. Joe did a short about it, being one of his 11 out of 10 mods that he likes. So that might be what I do. So I've just done the slice of our little koala pal, and I'm going to send to connect and see what happens. Choose a printer. Okay, let's see if this refreshes. Material doesn't match. Load filaments. Okay, this is going to take me some getting used to, I think. Working on the top hat. I've been watching your streams for that, but that can only be printed on an Excel. I've got the 350 size Voron, so that should be possible. So what I've done is I've just updated the printer to tell it it's loaded with PLA. Well, if you've got it working really reliably, you expect some DMs, because that may be what the next build series that I do is if I order a kit for an MMU3. I can't afford to do a fully assembled at this point. They're about $600 Australian. And to order a kit from AliExpress, it's about 240 or 250. So it's faster. That's nice to know. Here we go. Loading, filament, purging. A whole bunch of orange snot is coming out of the nozzle right now. And now we've gone over to my gray filament that I've swapped to for the koala. And is the color correct? Yes. It's now done a little retract. Just clearing off the last of that snot. Closing door. So it says the printer is busy. Let's close that and retry. Now, if you guys are familiar with this software, then that'll be awesome. Here we go. Now, Core One is now idle. PLA, 0.4 nozzle, set ready and print now. Confirm. I don't know if it's doing anything. Oh, there we go. Screen's updated on the printer. Let's jump across to there. Still can't really see anything because of the shine. Any better? There we go. I haven't used anything Prusa previously. Oh, you're talking Nomad. That makes more sense. I know that Steve Builds has said that new firmware available. Now it says there's new firmware. Ensure the grill is open. I have done. Doing its XY bouncy thing. I know that Steve Builds has built the others and he says the MMU3 is his preferred. Sorry, it's a bit on the slope. Let's see if I can fix that. There we go. Are you off to open source? No chance of me getting to anything like that at the moment. I almost managed to get to the Japan Rep Festival. Everything was ready to go, but I just couldn't. I could even found cheap flights, but I just couldn't get the visa in time. It looks like I need to go in and update the time and date settings on the printer somehow. But yeah, while we're waiting for this to move on, and now Nomad's in the stream to answer any questions if anybody's got any. I won the printer as part of Nomad's Trevor Project charity stream, which is a suicide and mental health charity that supports LGBTQ plus people in the US. Similar services in Australia are Lifeline, and in the UK, the Samaritans. And a great charity to support if you can. I know not everybody's politics and beliefs work in alignment with that, but I'm a very much a believer in live and let live. If people want to do what they want to do, then let them be. Your other option is the index. I have to admit that I abandoned my stealth changer build the moment index was announced, because I'd already spent a couple of $100 on parts for it and went, this could all be in vain, because if index is as good as it looks at face value, then stealth changer, etc., is just going to be a very poor second. Unfortunately, it may mean that Prusa is going to lose out a little bit too. There is going to be a little bit of a difference between the two techs, I assume, but I can't honestly see anything competing with it at this point. Inductive heating is going to be super fast and super effective. the way the locking of the tool heads works is going to make a huge difference. And the tool heads are going to be a lot lighter than the way Prusa currently does it. And the ability to have so many more tool heads, I think that's going to be one of the biggest game changers. Is a Voron 350 spec could potentially have 10 or even 12 tool heads at this point. Now, I know that people are going, oh, we could definitely only fit 10. There was some very, very clear comments by the people at Bondtech that they are making a narrower version than is currently in public domain. So for them to have made that comment, even if it was passing, it has me very optimistic that we could see 12 or even 15 heads on a 350 spec Voron. Now, I'm in the ballot to hopefully be on the beta team, but I haven't heard back from them. It's currently doing the nozzle probing. Now, once the stream's over, I've got some work to do. I've got to fill out a report on a beta I've been doing, and then I've got to get ready for an electrician to come because he's quoting on. Yeah, actually, Nick, yeah, that's a very interesting fact. You're going to be limited more by the space for the spools than you are by the printer once the index comes into play. People with the rep rack are going to be happy, print straight from it. I'm probably going to have to spend a lot of cash on the rep box and install rep box onto one of my racks above my printer shelf. Now, I know Nomad's not seeing my setup, so I'll give him a quick guided tour while we wait for the printer. So in that corner behind the Core One at the moment is an Ender 5 and 2 V0s. Even more rep rack. And my V2 with the box turtle, which still needs a little bit more calibration, but it's getting much closer to actually usable. I had no end of trouble with the build. The LDO parts weren't particularly good quality in terms of size. Now the first layer's going down, so let's bring you in on that. Let's actually not do that. Let's do that. And the thing that Prusa is always famous for is the perfect first layers. And I'd say that's pretty close to perfect. Now, if you're a little bit confused, I am going for a slightly bigger than normal layer height just to speed this print up a little bit. I'm going for a 0.25. But yeah, we're on track for a good print by the looks of it. So yeah, let's zoom in a little bit more. Now, can I raise that up a little bit? What can I raise it up on? That'd probably work. Now the input shaping calibrations are going to need to be redone once we finish here because it's currently on my wheelie trolley and I can see the wheelie trolley is moving around a little bit with the inertia of the tool head. But for what we're doing right now, I'm not going to worry. So, overall impressions. Why didn't we have something to do with the other indent on the other side of the printer? I mean, I know it's good for storing the tools in for transit, but yeah, and the plastic panels on the top, they're okay. I appear to be missing a couple of rivets, which I will pop in myself. Yeah, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 plastic rivets missing from the top panel. And I know they're not on the floor or anything like that. No rivets missing this side. And the other thing, little nitpicky thing, I would have thought for that little bit of the Prusa edge that you'd like to see, I would have thought they would have done a nice little radius on each of the corners of the panels. But that's little niggly things. Only 4 rivets are supposed to be on the top. Then why have the holes drilled in it? So there's holes in the steel and there's holes in the plastic. And the lid is obviously loose. I mean, I'm impressed with the machine. And I'm still waiting for it to but either irritate me or allay my fears with the inset spool holder. But which aerodynamics or weight saving? Commonality of parts. This is a custom part, Greenbeard. The frame is custom, and so is the top panel. I mean, you could possibly argue that they would drill the extra holes in case you put the panel in upside down, but if you put the panel in upside down, then the cover plate would be, the ventilated drill plate would be on the wrong side. Quite possibly, maybe they went, oh, we can cut 5 cents from each unit by not putting those extra top rivets in. It's just weird because every other panel has all the rivets filled in. Am I unhappy with the machine? No, definitely not. Now, I've just got a message from my wife saying she needs to be picked up from the train in about 30 minutes. So we'll have to finish in 25 minutes, which is basically the end of my normal stream window anyway. So let's go back to here so you can see what's going on. Oh, it doesn't like overlay windows. As you can see at the top of the screen, I am clicking into different sections, but for whatever reason, you can't see what I see because of the way they render the overlays. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the print job in progress. But you guys can't see any of it. Prusa is so pretty. So I'm going to turn the camera around for a minute so you can see what I mean by this. Oh, I will if I can stop it from gimbaling. Let's go to that one. And zoom out. So I apologize if you get flickers, but this is because I'm using my camera so you can actually see what I see. Okay, there. Okay, so when I click on these windows in the screen capture, none of these windows will show because they're done as extra overlay surfaces over and above the original. So from here I can do the firmware flash once we're finished printing, and it here tells me that it's printing. So yeah, it is possible to monitor the printer. Not to the same extent that I'm obviously used to with Clipper, but it's a different game. Sorry, I'm just moving it back to the printer. There we go. You can see my junk pile on the floor over there. Yeah, they are very clean in their build. I really need to get new panels for my Voron. They've gone milky from all the ABS residue, and it just won't come off. Now we need to get you a camera. You want to send me one? I'll use one. If not, I'll find myself an IP cam that I can use. The problem we've got here in Australia is so much of it is so expensive to get. It's not from tariffs or anything like that, it's just the logistics costs. Is the underbed light RGB? I think it might be. You wish you could send me one. Tell David it would be what finished off my prize. Don't do the ESP ones. I'm honestly tempted, because I've seen one already, to replace the side panel with clear acrylic, and I've seen a camera mounted directly to the plexi so that it's doesn't get reflections and things. See if I can get you guys in close enough to see. Little faces printing. Maybe I just need to leave this $300 streaming camera right in front of the printer the whole time. Which I sort of can do if I do this. That's better. So what I'm going to be doing this week, I am going to be reprinting using the Prusa, the doors for my 3D Sets truck. because they still don't fit, and it can only come down to something in the calibration of my printer and the sizes. And I'm going to reprint the hood yet again because it's still not quite fitting right, and see if that solves all the issues. It just doesn't quite fit. And no amount of filing is going to solve the issues. It's like 0.5 mm difference in size compared to the body of the truck. And on that scale, that makes a big difference. But it does drive, and I have been able to chase the kids around with it. So this is just the default Prusa profile. Time for another Haribo, or two. So what am I going to be doing next week's stream? Still not entirely sure. Maybe it'll be fitting those parts to the truck. It could be that we end up going back to the box turtle and doing some more tuning. Now I've got a bit more patience with it. Or it could be that we play with the Ender 5 and mount the X-Rail and install a rapid burner on it. I've got all the gear to do a rapid burner with a Rapido 2F abrasives tool head and the Apis 2 drive, which is all hardened as well. So that could become my abrasives machine. The other thing that I've got going on is I've got the Ender 3, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to pension off. Now I've got the Core One, because the Core One's going to be so much better at PET G, because that's what they're focused for. It's mesmerizing watching this tool head. It's so big and chunky though, the extra fan bolted on behind it, that is not immediately obvious to most people because the fan's tucked away behind the system. Cheesesteaks. Cheesesteak. End to wire conversion? No. Complete waste of money. I have a philosophy, and that is you can't break the laws of physics. I'm firmly with Mr. Scott off Star Trek on that. And trying to shunt a bed backwards and forwards works, having physics work against you. Does the spool holder hole have a lid? There's a printed plastic insert which has the PTFE go into it, Nick. No. I'm just stealing the camera, guys. If you get seasick, I apologize. So that's all you can access from the bottom, which means then you have to take off this plastic panel and then this top panel if you want to get access to the PTFE. Oh no, can you enclose the spool itself? There is a, like I said, there's a short that Prusa made with the a box that you can put over that spool area that you put the spool into. Let me see if I can find it. Found it first go. Now to get it into chat. Content, live, this one. Oh, look, it's my stream. Here we go. So I've just posted the link. And while we're here, add as moderator. There you go. Nomad is now a moderator too. So if he needs to post any links, he can do. And Greenbeard can be a moderator too, because we don't want to leave him behind. He's awake in the middle of the night. With big enough steppers? No, it doesn't, Brent, because then you've got power consumption issues. All you're doing is creating one, solving one physics problem by creating another one. Oh, Brent. Let's make Brent a mod too. Usual rules apply. If you do something stupid, I'll revoke it. Yes, but you don't try and shunt them around at 600 millimeters a second or a meter a second. Still waiting for a gantry flinger. That's what Zombie's building, isn't it? He's building a portal printer. Steve, who's normally in chat, he's building, well, he has built a cross XY printer. So both the X and Y are constantly moving on. Yeah, rather than moving an X and a Y, the X and Y constantly move together. So if you want interesting form factors, he's the guy to talk to. Now our little koala buddy is nearly done, thank goodness, because we've only got about 7 or 8 minutes left. Is there an ETA on this thing? 6 minutes. We should just make it before the end of the stream. So one of the other things I'm working on for the stream is I'm not a subscriber to what's that music streaming service that everybody uses? No, the one that everybody uses for stream beats. But I do have Apple Music, so I've managed to find some details on how to stream royalty free from Apple Music. So hopefully next week's stream will have that in the background. You can bop along to something. This koala is a pudgy little fella. He looks more like a wombat. That's no worry, Nomad. Thank you for coming. We should be able to spend a little bit more time with us, but that happens. Again, if you can support Nomad's favorite charity, please do so. That's the Trevor Project, or if you'd rather support somebody in your local country, Australia has Lifeline and the UK has the Samaritans. I just realized there is another 3D printer I could do some work on. My mum borrowed my Aldi i3 knockoff about a year ago, and she's used it once. So I might grab that back off her and do some renovations on it. We can tidy it up. Now I'm seeing a few little artifacts on one part of it. Nothing worth worrying about. Just possibly not as tidy as we would hope for. Maybe an extra wall would have helped with that. No, man. Have a good one, man. Actually, maybe even the jiggling trolley might have caused some of the artifact. So it won't let me take part in the... So according to the poll, 81% of you had already clicked like, so that's awesome. Thanks, guys. We have 2 minutes to go according to the timer, 5 minutes to go till the end of stream, so it's all going to line up just nicely. Oh, for the people who've been following my never-ending saga of getting my new EV, well, my wife's new EV, spoke to the dealer after last week's stream, and he was saying it was going to be another 10 to 12 weeks after previously seeing him 2 weeks before and him saying no more than 8 to 10. So I said to him, well, that's no good for us. We're going to have to cancel the order. And all of a sudden, 36 hours later, we get a car allocated to us and contracts to sign. And because the VIN number was included in the contract, it meant that I could track where the car was, and the car is definitely on a ship, and it should be landing in the port of Fremantle, which is just near here, in next Monday, my time. So that means we should have the car in about 3 weeks from now, allowing for delivery. Which means we need to get our act together and get a charger and stuff installed. Just up to those final few pieces on the ears and the butt. That's strange. My third monitor's shut down. Weird. The computer still thinks it's there, but the screen's gone blank. And we're done. There we go. And let's go to that one. And he's all flexy. So yeah, that's working. Sorry, I can't do anything about these cameras at the moment, guys. The software that controls it is on the monitor that's shut down. So I'll just have to show you like this. See if I can. Look at me. Will it zoom out? Yeah, yay for hand gestures. No, out, not in. Oh, for loser. Stay there. Okay. Just me. There's our little dude. Looking pretty good. Now, what I was referring to with regards to the artifacts you may or may not be able to see, just on the very edges of some of these parts, there's a little bit of a rough edge. May not be able to make it out. But perfectly acceptable for a first print. You can just make out the edges of the perimeters versus the base. So that means the first layer is pretty good. Maybe an ever so slightly closer to the bed, but I'll go with what it is. I think with a little bit of playing, his flexi will open up a little bit more. But yeah, am I impressed? Definitely. No calibration needed. Straight out of the box printing. That's what I like. So let's close him up and say goodbye. My name is Phil. I have been the Down Under Maker. This has been assembling the fully assembled Core One. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Thanks for coming, guys.